Hello, everyone, and welcome into 2026. This is the energy forecast, the channel messages, the predictions, all the things that unfold that come up for 2026. If you want to know more about your sign, you can check out the individual zodiac signs. You can check out all of them to see if they align to your whole natal chart. Remember, you are more than your sun sign. You are so much more than your sun sign, but your sun sign is an important part of who you are and what you're doing here. So let's dive in. So I'm recording this on New Year's Eve. I have been a whole month thinking that I was recording this, but nothing was happening in my time. And that seems to have been the theme through 2025. And of course, we've had that Saturn in Pisces, and it dipped itself into Aries for a little bit, and then it went back into Pisces. So for all of those people who are all in my Pisces, or all those people who had your Saturn in Pisces, is or going through that Saturn, is remember it was affecting time. And so if you have been, on that mindset that I need to change plans, I need to jump ship, I need to do this, I need to do that. Stop, pause, reflect. January, you have Saturn leaving Pisces forever. In your lifetime, in this lifetime, you're not going to see it again. So it's going to be moving into Aries. You're going to get things moving again in your life. Don't take it so personally. The universe wasn't out to get you. It's what was happening. And so it played out for several years. And it's kind of where we kind of been springboarding back and forth and indecisive. Pisces is a water sign. It's the fish, one swimming this direction, another one swimming this direction. We've been wishy-washy and back and forth. And in that sense of cradling, being cradled by that Saturn energy, is really about limitations, feeling limited, feeling like restriction and restricted is also comes up. But beyond Saturn is so much more. And there's just so much more that is speaking to us and so much more that is communicating. So I just want people who have been really just thinking about abandoning your dream, your plan, or something you've been working on, or the place that you have been, is maybe don't be so quick to make that leap because things are changing. And so wherever maybe your work got flooded, so like your industry may have gotten flooded because everyone all of a sudden was going to this industry or that industry. Well, you're going to see it you're going to see people jump ship. You're going to see people go back to the things that they were originally doing, returning to their original jobs, returning to their original plans, and even returning to some original countries. And that got nothing to do with the immigration. It's got to do with the fact that people are being called back. And so people are being called back for reasons, for purpose, maybe for jobs, for careers, back to their lives, back to the things that they value the most. And what I'm hoping that kind of means for countries is that their countries are, people can safely return to what they love, to the people they love, to the place they love, and begin to rebuild. And so it's going to be very fast moving. There's going to be a big shift, which means we're also going to experience massive changes very quickly. Floodgates of energy, floodgates of change. It's a floodgate. And so don't be so quick to get to the doors that push us in and out, because it's like when everybody rushes, everything just kind of gets jammed up. And so you don't want to get stuck in the rush. You don't want to get stuck in the panic, and you don't want to get stuck in this energy that's kind of like everything is now jammed, and now I have to sit still and I have to wait for everything else to move. So patience plays out a lot in the beginning of 2026. Patience, patience, patience. Don't be so quick to jump in. Don't be so quick to feel like you have to have everything figured out. Don't be so quick to think that you got to have these big New Year's resolutions and all of these big things changing in your life. Also, you're really starting to see things maybe differently. You may have changes of thoughts and changes of directions. But for the most part, especially my Pisces people, is really think about this in the way of you are being set free. That energy that's been holding you is now releasing you. and you're being released. So wherever Pisces is in your natal chart. Now, I'm not an astrologer, and like as a professional astrologer, and I don't professionally work with astrology as a rule. I read the energy of it. And so when Saturn speaks to me, I'm like rolling my eyes, like, I'm like, can you speed up? Can you tell me that faster? And it's like, and it will intentionally slow itself down. It will make me wait. And that's why a lot of the work is in a wait and in a pause. So being aware of the movement and the flow of the energy allows for us to kind of not have to take the long way around sometimes. It's like so quickly we jump into reaction and reacting to the fear and reacting to what we think is in front of us. And we're not able to see the blessing or the opportunity that's in front of us. What's looking at us? What's being revealed to us? What are we seeing? What are we noticing? What are we experiencing? And so it's speaking to us in many ways and many directions. And those many ways and those many directions are really bringing up some uh, it's exposing our impatience, it's exposing our fears, our sense of intimidation, those things that kind of how quickly we respond to fear and how we think that's inspirational or that's intuition. It's like, no, that's not your intuition. That's because things are not moving the way that you thought they should or the way you think they should. And sometimes we're just asking the wrong questions or we're looking in the wrong direction to get that truth. And so it's we're being guided to really pay attention. And so there is like this this gushing of energy that's going to bring about change. And with that change, of course, everything around us changes. So nothing is as we thought. 2025, if you jumped into 2025 with this big game plan, you probably discovered that your big game plan didn't work out exactly as you thought it was. I found out very early in 2025 what it was going to be like. And I fell into a whole year of deep grief, and a big loss within our family and it's something so sacred to us all. And it changed me. It changed the direction. It changed it changed a lot of things in our lives. And so 2024 ended with my daughter and family moving away and us being separated for the first time in her life, and that adapting and adjusting and the changes and all of those things through 2025 were definitely challenging. There's good things, of course there's good things, and there was a release of a new book. We purchased this house. 2023 ended with this. 2024 would have been the beginning of, say, a back surgery, or 2020, I don't know, 2023 was a back surgery, and it was a big long healing process, and I was acting as if I was healed. I was living as if I was healed. I was going about life as if I was healed. And then we look back at pictures that were like 8, 9 months out, and then it was a stranger who said to me in a restaurant, she said, I don't know who's on your website page, but that is not you, because you don't even look like that person. You don't even have that body. Like, and it was like, you're not that, like, I would take, you're not that big. And it was, she said, I don't mean to be offensive, but that's not you. And I'm like, that was in recovery from back surgery. And that's the body still recovering. That's protection. And so there was still protection. And so this year, for many people, you've probably stepped deep into protection and not really recognizing that you put on the cloak of protection, or that the spirit of the spirits that protect us were holding, felt like you were being held back, but you were in protection and you're being protected from something. Sometimes we're being protected from our own selves. Sometimes we're being protected from something even more. And sometimes, you know what, we got to experience the shitty things in life. Life comes with the not so great experiences. We exist in the fates of other people's experiences, what they have to go through, what they have to walk, what their soul's journey is. And we participate in it and we're a part of it. And so this is all played out within our year. And it's going to kind of we've already kind of began this new shift. We've began this new energy. It kind of started to begin in November, December. Like it's not like, oh, the year's ending and now we're into this new year. No, everything has already began. We're moving kind of into the next phase. Like the fool's card we've already been in this past couple of weeks. Like we're kind of moving through this right now. We're getting to there. Endings and beginnings start at the same place. Always endings and beginnings start at the exact same place. And so there has been these shifts, these endings. And of course, we have the Saturn, we have the Neptune, both going into Aries in January and February. So January and February are holding big, powerful fire energies. And it brings in that leadership. It's going to bring about courage, bravery, but also a sense of methodical movement, how we move, and to be able to move with intention but without intention is not always easy, and it's going to be moving us through a lot of changes. And so for you Pisces, you're going to be feeling that. If you are the year of the rat, I don't know which other sign yet, but we'll get to those. But if you're the year of the rat in the lunar, you're going to have to kind of navigate your way through a lot of kind of moments throughout 2026. Um, and 2026 is the year of the horse. It's a fire horse. And remember, horses are like we see the tame horses. Have you ever experienced a wild horse? Have you ever seen the magic, the mystic of the wild horse? Well, 2026 is like the mystic of a wild horse. It is not tamed. You don't get to control it. You don't get to be in charge of it. It is moving us through through life experiences. We are being taken on a magical journey of evolution, of change, of where nothing makes sense and where time feels like it's collapsing, it's looping, it's everything got this kind of mystifying energy to it. And so for myself, I know that I began teaching the middle world and about the soul and the identity of our soul's archetype and getting to really know who we are at our core. And we're so always invested in what's out there and everything that's out there. But everything that's out there, if we're so busy, we're so caught up, is that we're missing what is in here. And that middle world is calling us back. It's calling us home. That world that exists to us as Indigenous community, in the Indigenous communities, the sense of the little people and the magic that exists and the wonder that exists. And a part of this year is bringing us back to basics, whereas we look at it as, oh, we're evolving. Yeah, we're kind of endings and beginnings happen all at once. And so it is taking us on a spiral back to basics and back to self, remembering who we are, remembering who this self is and the essence of ourselves. We were never broken. Let's begin there. We're never been a parasite that we have been conditioned to believe to the earth, that we are causing these problems, that we are the problem. No, we're not. And we are awakening to that. What is our disrupted nervous systems, dysregulated, the continual hurts and pains, and the eye for an eye story, the sense that someone has to pay, and that someone has to pay for the past. All of that, we're going to start to see a new truth around there. We're really moving through a time of where tradition is being questioned, right? Where it's okay to kind of learn through tradition, to discover what tradition was, but to also recognize the unintentional narcissism that is in tradition. My way or the highway. This is the only way. And it's kind of the things that have separated us are also now going to be the same things that in different ways that are going to bring us closer together. It is going to bring us home to ourselves. It's a year of being able to kind of begin to say yes, but being very methodical about what those yeses are. and where you place those yeses and what that importance is for you. And so this girl here has barely combed her hair over Christmas. Honest, like it has been one of the most challenging Christmases in so many ways. And still, it's 99% better than probably than some other people's years and Christmas. And it's been that way because things revealed itself, things that needed to be resolved, things that could lead to future problems, like my house burning down. um Not having water for a couple of days was kind of became the least of my worries. Perspectives, what really matters, what's really important, what brings value into our lives. Those are the things that are going to matter this year as we move through 2026. So there's a lot of hype being built, and there's a lot of hype into 2026. And so we just, it's that belief that, oh, now we're going to move into kumbaya. Like we've had real crappy years for all these years. Now it's going to be a shift. And in some ways it is, without a doubt. Without a doubt, we have a lot of things that are going to really help to be catalysts of moving forward. But moving forward means change. What happens with change? Change means we're letting go. And we're still in the year of the snake. We have not left the year of the snake, and we're not leaving it until February. So, you know what? That New Year's resolution, that jumping into that action, remember, we're still in the snake. And so with that, we also have a strong sense of in this energy where we are right now, is that we're really in the argumentative energy. At any moment, at any time, there can be some sort of war, argument, fight that breaks out. It's there. So as you are maybe listening to this on New Year's Eve, you may be listening to this on New Year's Day, you may be listening to this at the end of 2026. There is an energy in the beginning of the year that does bring up emotions. And we're going to be seeing emotions rising. Now, we're starting out with a bang on the 3rd of January. And we're starting out with the Cancer moon. And this is the full moon in Cancer. It is the 4th supermoon in the last 4 moons that are in the series. So it's the last of the supermoons for a bit. And Cancer is at home. That's Cancer's ruling planet is the moon. And it's at home in the moon. It's ruled by the moon. It rules the moon. And so the moon is about how we emotionally show up, how we emotionally respond. And so how do you emotionally respond in difficult situations? How do you react? And so this is going to be an energy of reactions, and that can lead to new actions. So being aware, this is where, apply alcohol, right? Apply alcohol, and it can be a like lighting a fire that becomes a very destructive energy. So, breathe back in when anyone is trying to gaslight you right now. Breathe back in when someone's trying to nitpick, when someone is trying to to get you to emotionally respond, when they want to see you. Passive aggressive people, those, you're going to see a lot of passive aggressive energy that is transpiring in these next few days. It's also where we have to start changing our stories. And stories are going to start changing because time is changing. And so because there is a change in how we are moving through time, we're also having a change in our stories. You may feel like you might be losing your mind a little bit, but the big thing that we really have to move beyond in this year, which is going to be very crucial, is madness. Is madness running the world? And we are going to see madness on an all-time rise in 2026. Is the manics, the madness, the air energy. I myself only have one element of air in my natal chart. And so I have to rely on the air of other people and the other elements, or the element of air as it moves through, to be able to inspire me, to get me going. And so I work, when you learn how to utilize the elements instead of be negatively influenced by them, of then you start to be able to work with the alchemy. It is the magician, right? It's all things are accessible and available, but when you believe you don't have it and you can't get it and you can't reach it, then you believe you have a lack and it's not available to you. It's always available, but what are we reaching towards? And what do we keep trying to do? And if we keep trying to repeat a loop in our lives, we're going to keep returning to those loops. And so, because of this energy, is also on the opposite end of that is a lot of intellectual, logical thinking, big decisions, but it also brings in the mystic. And so, flying through this energy is the mystic. If you are a mystic like me, I feel like we're going to have so much to dive into this year, so much to really like to kind of really get entangled into, and to really let ourselves get invested in the consciousness, right? And so this is, we're working with higher levels of consciousness. One of the greatest awakenings that's been taking place, and even through that three-eye atlas stuff, was really the moving us into like Christ consciousness and the power of Christ consciousness. But that is not something that is beyond our reach. That is not something that is unattainable. It's just not something that people access. And so, because we're not conditioned to access that, we don't look for it. Have you ever been above yourself? Have you ever been witnessing yourself moving about? Do you ever see the things that you're doing, how you're acting, what you're, how you're speaking to yourself, the fear stories you're telling? Have you ever observed that self and then thought, oh my God, what would I do if I seen somebody else doing that? Right? What would I do if I seen somebody else doing that? Or have you noticed how much you can become other people in your presence? So if someone gives you that permission, if someone is mirroring to you, and then you're taking that mirrored reflection and you're reflecting into you as if, well, this is me. Or the fact that somebody else is struggling, so you think you have to pick up the pieces because they're struggling financially or they don't have a job. And this happens often in relationships, is that the one person is struggling, so you believe that you have to move into struggle to bring abundance in. You moving into struggle to bring abundances in is becoming a part of the problem, not a part of the solution. Because the minute you shift your frequency back and you dial it back into the fear and into where they are, is, we call it, often we think we're supporting, but it's not supportive energy. It's now we're both in the struggle because now I'm tired, I'm depleted, I'm this, I'm that, because I'm afraid. And because I'm afraid, I feel like I have to become the warrior. Now we're in the warrior energy right now. This is where in the enlightened Christ-like self, in the higher consciousness, in the higher self, in all of that energy, is where we're the warrior of the light, and not the warrior of our own, of the darkness. Is not, we're not here to fight for the darkness. And so inspiring the person who is down by reaching out and giving a hand up is helping people to rise up. Well, you keep rising. You coming down to that frequency is not going to be of service. Is not going to help at all. Trust me, been there, done that. And so when you look at it in that way and you can see things in a new perspective, this is going to really be of assistance for 2026. It's going to make a change. This year is going to be really opening us up creatively. Even I talked about the logical aspect, but it's also expanding us in the creative way. And so what's balancing is kind of where the intelligence, the intellect, the logical meets creativity and intuition. And it's where there is kind of that opening space of where we can kind of blend. It's like a blended of colors, and everything kind of begins to move together and connect. So because of that, we can also kind of experience some doubt. We're in energy, or moving into energy that we haven't seen in like 4,000-6,000 years. So don't act like you know what's coming. Don't act like you know who you're going to be or what you're going to be. We have never been here before. We're in the new frontier where your round you might look the same, but energy is not the same. Nothing is going to be the same. There's going to be rapid shifts and changes, which means some of our people will not be able to stay here on Earth. They've kind of exhausted their time here on on Earth, and they're ready to go home. On a soul level, they're ready to leave, and that's some of our elders. So it's the year of where there if there's been a lot of health issues, if there's been like dementia in the family, and they've struggled with dementia or Alzheimer's and their mind issues, is that you may just find them peacefully asleep. You may just go in and they're just peacefully just gone. And we're not saying that lightly. And this is not a personal reading. This is collective consciousness. This is in the collective energy. And it's just like there's just so many souls that have lived a long life or good life, and they have lived out their time. And so there is that returning kind of home energy that we're also experiences. So we are feeling we're feeling that. I've walked to 2025 um, with a lot of people, not just my own stories, not just my own experiences, with a lot of people. This is what I do, and and everyone experiences grief in their way, and everyone wishes someone could help them get through it, but nobody nobody can walk that journey for us. They can love us, they can be there, but nobody can walk that journey for you. It's a journey that some things we have to walk alone, some things we have to do alone, as much as there's compassion, but nobody can take away that experience from you. Nobody can take away from you what you have experienced. And it changes us. And too often we keep trying to take the old version of ourselves and apply it into the new experience. There is no applying. So there is this energy that is telling us that, as we're moving forth, is we can't take the dying parts of our lives any further. And sometimes we're going to have to just let it be, let it kind of be done, and kind of let it be transmuted back to us as love, as love through experiences, as the experiences were, and to be loved through those experiences. Um, it is speaking a lot about denial. Denial. It's like do not to live in denial of, it's those illusions of creating those narratives of the life that we create, of because we don't want to have to deal with our truths, right? We don't want to have to deal with those truths. We don't want to see things as they really were. And so we create those narratives because it's what's supporting us. It's what's giving us the strength. And if someone else is doing that, you got to let them be there until they're ready to come out. Like that's their journey. And so there is a lot of that energy that is still applied in the earlier part of the year. And then it's going to be like, woof. So it's like people are just like their hearts are breaking open, and the heart is opening for the space of vulnerability, for the space of change that is unfolding coming in. Now, you may also be really in this through this last little piece of the Saturn, and through this in Pisces, but also the through the full moon in Cancer, is where you may be feeling like you got to act tougher. It is a space of vulnerability. Um, but it's showing to me, how do I put this? Don't be reliant upon anyone else's energy to be your supportive energy. Is that you have to utilize your own energy to move forward. It's also going to expose frenemies, right? There's always that sense of where there is sometimes that frenemies that are in our lives, or that's come into our lives at one point. And if you were to look sometimes at life and see, those people who have been in your life, Um, and when they come into your life. And sometimes you don't realize. And I'll insert, they're telling me to insert this story. So, there was a lot of years when I looked fine to people. Fine, 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 fine. But in the meantime, my back was collapsing and I was on the list waiting for back surgery. So anything they could do to help support my back, they would. But in that period of time, I found that I had more and more people that tended to somehow, not massive amounts, but like one individual at a time, that would come into my life and really kind of believe that I had something they did not, I guess it's the only way, like that I was living some life almost like you're their competition some way. And it don't have, and it's not in work. It's not like that. It's not in a work environment. It's not like that. But just in that area where, you know, you get stumbled to the ground by people when you're down, and and so people can be so lost in their own insecurities, in their own beliefs about themselves not being enough, that they unintentionally exude these daggers of hurt and pain because they believe someone becomes a mere reflection of maybe somebody from their past, maybe somebody that hurt them in the past, and then let's just say all women then become a reflection of everyone who hurts them. And you may have experienced that, or every man, it has to be the same. This is where a resolution, a healing energy is coming in for this. And one of the things that we were talking about this morning was we were talking about God, and we're like, we're not the healers. We're the guides that lead to the healer, right? And it's that sense of when we surrender in and allow ourselves to enter into the chambers of where the healer exists. So if we let ourselves be into the light, if we allow ourselves to be put into the capsule of the light to be healed, we add ourselves to the list in our prayers of people to be healed. Heal me. Heal me of my insecurities. Heal me of my envy. Heal me of my unintentional jealousy. Heal me of my sense of lack, my lack of confidence. Heal me of my inability to be brave in moments where I need to be brave. In all of those things, if we ask in the right ways, if we bring that about, is that what we're saying is it's okay to expose me. It's okay to expose me to myself so that I can see what I'm contributing to, how I'm contributing to the darkness, to the shadow, how I'm contributing to the pain stories, how I'm contributing to being to hurtful thing, to things that cause hurt in any way, and exposing that and reveal to me if I have done this and where it has happened. And let me move through this energy. You don't have to walk back through your life apologizing to everyone, but walking back into that experience and giving people back their light, returning to them what you may have unintentionally taken, not knowing, not conscious. We might have been five, right? We might have been five. And this is some of the soul work. And so if you want to venture further into some soul revival work, come join me for, I think I begin on like the 1st of February, and I have a 4-week Sunday morning soul revival class happening. It's about love. It's working with Venus energy. And one of the most powerful energies we have in our chart is our Venus. Here's another one. So here's something that most people probably don't even know, don't even look up. What is my most powerful planet? Asking in astrology, what is my most powerful planet? And how does it influence me? How does it impact me? Getting to know, expanding beyond your daily horoscope, because that's not all about you, right? Moving beyond that. What is my most powerful planet? And then what sign is that planet in? And so mine is Venus. My most powerful planet is Venus. I'm all about love. And that made so much sense to me. I am all about love. I'm all about love. But sometimes that love can be obsessive, right? And so and so finding out it was in Pisces is that my Pisces and my Venus and my Pisces, my Pisces, my Venus and Pisces was often giving me away. It was giving me out. It was kind of like prostituting in archetypes, not in prostituting out my energy by jumping into action, by jumping into yes, because I would feel the hurt, the pain, and believe that I have to be of service, that I'm always here to be uh, of service. And so, but what am I to be of service of? And discovering that those things about yourself will give you a lot of aha moments. So, what we're asking of you and what they're telling you for this year is this is about expansion, expanding those stories, those narratives, those loops, those continued, those repeated patterns. How many of those darn repeated patterns do you have? How many patterns are you repeating all the time? Oh, well, this is not going my way, so I'm going to do this. And the minute things are not going my way, and the things are not doing this, and the things are not doing that, maybe it's not the thing that you keep trying to change, because every time you do that and you return, you loop, is that you're obviously not finding the right solution, because it's not the solution, because it's not your problem. That's not where your problem exists. And your problem is the place most likely you don't want to look. And so sometimes it's more embedded in your relationships. Sometimes it's not about your work. Sometimes it's not about your finances. Sometimes it's about your relationships. And it's the relationship with yourself, and it's the relationships that you have with others, and it's the relationship that you have with your own energy, and where you invest your energy, and where your stories are coming from, and how your mind is working. And am I in the past? Am I in the, where am I? And how you will create chaos around you, so that you got permission, so that your shadow now has permission to do the thing that you keep repeating. It's coming up, and it's playing out, and it's time to really pay attention to it. Deal with that shit this year. Get it done. Because this, we're moving through this Venus energy, and this Venus energy is bringing about love. It's romance. It's beautiful things. But romance and love is not about us both sinking into the problem. It's not about us becoming merging together. It's about us being individuals in a relationship. It's about it's about inspiring and encouraging. It is about growing as individuals that then evolves this light around this relationship, so that it can grow, so that it can become something more, and so that there is success within it. This is going to also be the year that if you have children, is that your children are going to kind of be also feeling this energy. They, of course, they kind of came ready for this. They came a little more prepared than we came prepared. Our boomers didn't come prepared for this at all. Us Generation X, we came prepared for fucking anything. But this is where we're kind of stepping back a little bit. And it's where the crone energy is kind of just saying, you know what? I'm not a warrior anymore. I'm not a warrior. This is where you move into your crone. It's where you move into your sage. It's where you move into being able to advise, to be an advisor to give the advice, but not to be repeating and doing the same thing. It's going to be slowing people down while also speeding things up. And so there does have a lot of movement happening. Um, hmm, a lot of people are going to be moving into, people fear being out there. They don't want to be out there. Don't want to be out there. Don't want to be weird. Welcome to weird. Welcome to weird. And so this is going to be the year of where the weirdness of it all will feel very odd. On political grounds, you are going to see some shifts in power, some changes in power. This is the beginning of the year, is where we could really see the face of war in some areas, because there is this ravaging energy that is, so there's light and there's sun and there's shine and sun, and then there's like this undercurrent of darkness that is floating through, and it's disruptive, so it's trying to disrupt our peace that we're trying to create. It is disrupting the peace, and it doesn't feel very peaceful, and it's kind of coming up from under the ground, which brings us into quakes, earthquakes, the breaking of the ground, mudslides, eruptions, landslides, volcanoes, avalanches, anything that shakes the earth. It feels like things are being shook up from the underneath, breaking. And so there could be like a big break somewhere within that causes like a catalyst of disruptions. And so it does have that kind of disruption kind of energy. And with it, of course, it kind of brings out some of the worst in humanity. And so, kind of seeing, what I keep seeing? That movie Mad Max? Kind of like that. You know how in Mad Max, the one person, the one community tried to, it took all the water, right? Kept it all for themselves in here, and nobody else had water, and trying to tell us that, there was no water. Like, there's water, right? There was water. It was just, where is the water and who's controlling the water? And so it's like the minds of madmen with millions, billions, that have been convincing us that we are the problem. People are waking up and seeing the difference. And people are, and it's going to be in the masses, and it's going to be in bigger numbers than ever before, of where we're being controlled and manipulated in areas of our lives of where we may have been a little more accepting before, but which means there is a revolt. There's a revelation coming in here. There is rebellious energy that is being revealed here, and so it is bringing in the rebel. And there is a contagion to that rebellious energy. So it's like anything that's trying to kind of lock us down this year, it does feel like it's going to be met with a lot. It's not so easy to convince people anymore. People are much more aware, and that feels like it's tying into this shift that we're experiencing, this movement that we're experiencing, this energy that we're going to experience, this time that we're going to be in, where we have not been before. And so it's like, where did I get that courage? Where did I get that strength? I don't know where it's coming from, but it's here. And so, yeah, we're experiencing it. If you've been feeling like very bloated, very like you, like me, like you can't get your rings off, like your body feels like it's like puffed up. Yeah, it feels like we've just been like we're just like our water is at its top, like we're just so full. And it does feel like we're very full. It feels like we're going to be deflating. So it could be a year. This feels like the year of where our bodies kind of lose, like, is a major detox. It's deflation, right? It's like we feel like the body's being deflated, and we're also going to be feeling a bit of deflation and then inflation. I like on the charts, I see things kind of like rates going down, rates going up until it kind of regulates. And I feel like that's going to be coming more middle end of the year. Um, we're in very questionable times. We're in very questionable times. And I do have this sense that there is, and I don't even like to mention this, and I don't know if it's for everyone, um, but it does feel like that, we've been in threats of recessions, but it does feel like there is a bit of a recession energy that is coming in. And it does feel like it's coming into that February, March energy a little bit here. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it does have an effect. And I feel like it's almost like intentional. It feels very intentional. Um, and it has this, I don't know, kind of this sinister energy to it. I'm like, don't watch the news. I don't care which side it is. Don't watch the news. Go for a walk. Go outside. Who cares? Like, it's not that we don't care about what's happening. You're not being fed truth. anywhere. You're getting pieces of truth. And it's as if it is a big dog eat dog world now. And and that's what it feels like. It's like we are being moved through and we are witnessing dog eat dog energy, right? And that is where it's like I'll get you before you get me. And that is scrutiny. These are the things that are happening on a big scale. We're seeing it kind of everywhere. I'll get you before you get me. It is such bullshit kind of energy. It is juvenile energy. And so because we're moving to a time of where we've not been, we're beginners in this. There's juvenile. So we're in a lot of juvenile energy, and that juvenile energy is supposed to be playing adults. And because it's looking like an adult, so be aware of your own juvenile energy. Be aware of your tantrums, be aware of your behaviors, beware of how you treat other people, beware of like high school behavior habits. Like it's going to kind of be everywhere for a little bit. It leaves a yucky kind of taste, but we are moving beyond it. We're maturing here. The energy is maturing. Things are coming around, and it's going to make a turnaround. Um, Pricing skyrocketing, airlines, flights, travel. It just feels like it is going to be kind of hitting the max, and where it becomes almost unobtainable for people for a little period of time, but it has to turn itself around because it needs everyday people. You need everyday people to keep your planes in the air. You got more everyday people than you have billionaires. So, and nothing wrong being a billionaire. I'm all okay with being billionaire, millionaire. That narrative and story that it's like if someone works hard and ethically and properly gains their finances and gains their money, yay. But when you're stomping down people's heads to get to the top, not only do we have an issue with that, the guides have an issue with that. That is being seen. Who you are behind closed doors, the muttering that you do, the the backdoor deals that you make, those things that you do, the little secret chattering that you do, that kind of is about pushing somebody else down so you can get up or get ahead. That's always being seen. That's not hidden. It is being revealed all the time. Um, and that's an obvious. Another one is that disguise, that mask kindness, kind of like we're not going to be able to tolerate bullshit. We're not going to be able to tolerate bullshit. I just can't tolerate bullshit. Now I am an Aries, so I know I'm feeling that big shift happening. Now the Neptune moving into Aries, now we're in a whole new world, right? This is giving us the courage, the bravery that we truly need to make those changes in our world, in our lives. Now, this is where I believe that we're also going to start to experience. So, this would be bringing us into kind of like really getting into our year. Like, we're getting into our year. Things are really moving along. But I don't know what's going to be happening with, and I'm Canadian, with the president of the United States. I do feel like, and I don't have a investment in this in any way. I'm not in this game. Um, I feel as if I don't know if it's deciding to kind of retire from the fight or just some big, big changes. And there is kind of like, I don't know, I don't, I just see almost like a somebody taking like maybe it's where just a change in who's in charge, possibly. But there's going to be a lot of quick changes and a lot of kind of reeling things back. Maybe it's a change of heart. I don't know why, but I keep seeing the heart. I keep seeing the heart. And so I don't know if this is tied to the heart, but it's like maybe it's a change of heart in some of the decisions. Maybe it's kind of getting back to basics because I do feel getting back to basics. We got to get back to basics. What was the initial plan? What were we initially doing? Maybe that's it, but there's definitely some changes coming in that category. There's going to be a lot happening in the European nations. I don't know what's going to be going on there, but I'm seeing a lot of movement in that part of the energy that's surrounding the European nations is as if it is like a kaleidoscope of energy. And so there's a lot of movement happening, a lot of shifts, a lot of quick changes, um, a lot of movement in power as well, and a lot of really kind of advancing things before it's ready, which is going to lead to some technical issues or some difficulties. I don't know if what system that would be in for them, but I am seeing something like that that's unfolding as well. Um, but that's also happening. Sorry, I'm having some technical issues. And so I had to try to fix things here. I lost my connection. Um, and I don't remember exactly where I was in my channeling of all of this. So one thing that I'll just going to jump into the next things. Whatever it was, we might come back. Okay. So a lot of with this Saturn and Pisces or Saturn Aries energy, it's going to be influences for a couple of years. The Saturn or the Neptune in Aries is going to play out for a long period of time. We got years of this Neptune Aries. It's going to really change the Aryan energy. It is going to bring about big changes everywhere. It is about bravery. It's about courage. It's got all of those things. It also really heightens our sensitivities, our intuition, and really strengthens us. So we are very much in a time of a lot of evolution happening with us and through us. Like we are changing as a being in a lot of ways. And that might sound kind of foreign, but it's real. And so what Saturn in Aries is about and how it's going to influence and affect us is that level of the egotistical self, right? Like the egoic self. It's really making us really pay attention to, we're going to be coming from an I to a we in a lot of ways about how we can be so laser focused on ourselves. How do we heal? How do we move forward? And that is really about being able to be very, taking the focus off ourselves and putting our focus into other things in our lives, other priorities, not so about what I don't have or what the universe is not giving me. It's about what we all need as a collective and what we all need to kind of grow together. What did I write down here? Um, Oh yeah. So it's really going to really help us with wherever there's like imbalances in our lives, it's going to help us balance things out. So wherever we are, wherever we're putting too much focus, wherever something is out of alignment in our lives, it's going to help us bring that alignment back in. So it is going to be a year of kind of readjusting and coming back into alignment. It's going to really have us looking at the patterns in our lives, in our relationships, and what we keep repeating and what we want from other people, and why we keep choosing the same kind of maybe people. So if you're single, this is going to be a year of where it's like, okay, your life will not never be in balance. It'll never work as long as you just keep choosing the same kind of people that are probably self-centered, that are probably all about themselves. If you were to look at people's lives and what they have put in their lives or what they've allowed in their lives, and then kind of look at it and go, well, where has there ever been space in their lives for anyone else? And am I trying to fit into a place of where there is no space for me in their lives? And what we're trying to do is it is an I thing. It's about the I that is saying, I'm just going to be enough. I'm going to prove to that person I'm enough because we just want to be accepted. Right. And it's just that place of where you want to be accepted. Pay attention to it. You don't want to be repeating that pattern moving forward. So this when Saturn is in Aries this whole period of time, it's not going to be about, oh, it's all about me. It's like, no, it's how can I be of service to the highest good? How can I be of service to my own highest good? How can I really truly be of service to my soul? And so it is the relationship with the soul that is evolving. It is the self that is our kind of enlightened being, our enlightened self that is coming into focus this year. Um, and so, so we're having to we're having to kind of look at things from the inside out. We have to open up the closet doors. We have to clean the clutter, right? Cleaning things out that have been there. And so when Saturn is entering Aries and it's going to be sticking there for a while, and it's not going back into Pisces because it's run its full course of degrees, is that when it begins there, is that it's going to be in the middle of February. So it's kind of happening like right around the right before Valentine's Day, I think it is. It's around that period of time. And so it's going to be there until like I think it's April of 2028. So this is, especially if you're going through your Saturn returns, you're going to really be feeling this. You're going to really be feeling this energy. Um, this is also about allowing ourselves to be seen and being seen. So if you are the person who has been kind of, maybe you were advancing and you were getting ahead in life, and then all of a sudden it's like you became invisible. Now you're becoming visible. So it's bringing about visibility. It's bringing us into where our soul is about to shine, where we're about to be seen for our good qualities, about what we're here to do. And this can feel very uncomfortable because this is often the part of ourselves that we only reveal to the people that we feel like we can trust ourselves around, that we feel safe with. But now those parts of our identity are kind of coming out everywhere. If you're kind of like humorous and funny only around the people that you feel safe, and you're serious in the public, and that part of you is coming out, your silliness might be coming out, and it might be uncomfortable to be silly. It might be not familiar to show your emotions or to be expressive, but you're being pushed into expression, expressiveness. There is a passion, a desire to be passionate, to be desirable. You may find yourself really being seen for your beauty, for your whatever that may be. It's coming. Your intellect, your intelligence, your brilliant ideas, is that there's this energy that is just saying the spotlight is shining, and it's shining on that part of ourselves that we tend to want to hide away, but now it's saying it's time to bring it out. And so it is bringing a center stage type of self, but it's not about self-centeredness. There's a difference. And so, what you have may be of benefit to the greater, right? To more people. Who you are as in your wisdom, your knowledge may help people around. It's where you may be seen by the right partner. And it's where you may this year maybe where you begin that relationship that is for my singles, that is for the whole family. It may be where you're seen as like the leader in your family, as someone of authority, and it could be as big as a leader within your company. It's where in your job you're finally being seen, you're being valued, you're being appreciated for the work that you do. So wherever it feels like your light has dulled, and you have not been visible, and you have not been seen, well, that part is going to start to be seen. You're going to be seen. And so because there has an intensity to it, is that there is a push-pull energy to it as well. And so it's like Aries wants to be on the go and Saturn wants to slow us down, right? It's like, And so it's going to take some time for this adjustment when this fully transpires and takes place. And so it does bring about some tension. And so there's some tension in this as well. All right. Let's look at more. Okay, so Capricorn's going to be seeing a massive shift. If you're in Capricorn energy, this is like one of your greatest years. Like you are finally Pluto is leaving, Pluto has left or leaving that and leaving Capricorn, not to return in your lifetime type of thing. Pluto's moving into Aquarius. And Aquarius is going to excel in its own way. Capricorn and Aquarius is no comparison. They don't compare in energies. What Capricorn is earth, Aquarius is air. They both have an intellect, they both have high intelligence, but they're not in comparison to each other. There's no real competition to that. So there's a very different way that Pluto influences Capricorn, the way it would influence the Aquarian energy. So we're going to start to see that. And so this does affect and influence our social structures. It affects it affects oh it affects things like how things are formed around us. And so this is where the political part comes in, because it's also going to change in the next couple years, like as we move into, say, your next elections, as we move into, even here in Canada, we're going to see some big shifts and changes. um we're going to see things move, right? We're going to see that change happening. um and no, Canada's not going to become the superpower at all. Somehow Canada is being used. I feel like Canada's being used. It's like it's it's being led to believe that it's gaining all of this power and it's gaining all this momentum, but it's also going to be the place that kind of taken away from as quickly as it gets here. I don't know. There's big energy fluctuations that are tied around Canada. Um, it's trying to restructure itself in a way that doesn't align to the natural energy of what Canada should be. And so it doesn't it gives you momentum, but it's not organic. So it feels as if Canada needs to be a little more organic on an energy scale within itself. Um, and I just feel like it's being shoved in a direction, or there's great manipulation happening within the Canadian government somehow. And I do feel like it's like we're going to have to kind of have some sort of turnarounds or some sort of changes. And it's not talking about a political person or leader. It's not there. It just feels like on a bigger scale. So it's like wherever there is a sense of um I don't know, it feels like it's tied around finances and money, right? And so it's going to take some time to kind of it's like pulling back the curtain and revealing what's really going on, and what's really happened, and where we really are financially, and what has to happen and what needs to change, and how do we get things back on track. It's like we've gone off the rails and you got to get back on track. Know where that's all coming in, but it is going to kind of play out in the next couple of years. But the beginning of it, I feel like it's like we're just gathering up more, like we're just building on top of this, and then it's like when we think things are going really good, but it's also bringing in good structure. It's bringing in good foundational energy. But what's really needed is not happening. Put it that way. What's really needing is not happening, and what's really needed in the Canadian energy is the things that make people matter, and you're just not going to see it. You're not seeing it so much this year. Will we slowly see it in 2027? Yeah, it's going to start coming in, but it's not all the way there right now. So of course we do have that political stuff that's coming in. And so really taking things seriously, I feel like this is the year they're going to have to start taking life seriously. They're going to have to start taking people seriously, because the greater numbers are the ones that are going to have to be taken seriously. Um, uh, it's going to be really confronting. This is where the rebel comes in, because we're really looking at control. We're looking at our own sense of control. So we got the rebel coming in, and we're feeling the rebel, right? It's rebellious. So there's the rebellion kind of energy. It's like, what are we rebelling against? And if we're rebelling against ourselves, if we're still trying to keep things under control, it's where all of those to-do lists, those checklists, it's like everything that you think of how things are going to do might not go as planned, because the energy is a little wild this year. It's a little unruly. It's a little wild. It's a little feral. So there's a real feral kind of energy, which makes me chuck. I love feral energy. I love the feralness. I love that energy. I think it's such a great time. And I did pull a card to kind of bring this in, and I pulled the Sun card, and it's like the newborn child, right? And it's like the child that's learning as it's going. It's stumbling, it's falling, it doesn't know how to even change its own diaper, right? It's like doesn't know how to wipe its own bum yet. It's like it's newbie, but it's celebration. And so there's a lot of hope that is coming in. It's a renewed energy. It's a renewed source of energy that's coming in. And this Aquarian energy brings about possibility. It's like, oh my God, anything is possible. Anything can transpire, anything beautiful. So if something can go terribly wrong, then something can go terribly right as well. And so we're really feeling that energy, and I get excited about it. Um, and so um, we're also um, where we're this is where you can be anything from, like, we're really working like in the sciences, but we're also very much working in the humanitarian part of ourselves. So if you have that in your chart, to really become the humanitarian, to really become that person, doesn't come with the judgment, it doesn't come with having to be judgmental, it comes with a deeper truth. So if we're going to do things, approach it without manipulation, without disguising. So transparency is really needed this year. Say what you mean and approach things from the way of saying why I'm really here. I'm really here because I really want you to do this, and I'm really hoping you can or you will. But this is my hope, and this is why I'm here. I'm not here to be your friend. I don't care about being your friend. I'm here because of this. And this is my cause. This is my why. This is why I'm here. And so, yeah, so just be that, and be that wherever you go. Right. And so I found myself kind of being, played into unintentional, not intentional, unintentionally kind of sucked into a little bit of that because somebody appeared to look a lot like my daughter, who's very transparent, very transparent. She's not going to tell you, she's going to say it as it is. And I felt myself, because I miss her so much, just wanting to engage in a conversation. And so in and it's like, oh, this is so lovely, this is so wonderful, I'm so, thank you so much for your kindness. And then disguised in the kindness was a card, basically a judgmental card, not even, probably not even meant to be intentional. But I could feel that little rebel within myself that was rebellion throughout my life, that could see through the bullshit, right? That could see through things that just said, well, that just don't make sense to me. I love sitting here. I love being a part of this. But that part don't make sense to me. And so being told what to think or what to believe, or to be fed fear stories to believe, just has never been able, I've never been able to get on board with it. And this is only going to get bigger and larger in me this year because of my North Node in Aquarius, because I have Aquarian energy. And sorry, not sorry. I love that meme that just says, I'm going to apologize now, right? It's uh, like, but it's about having, like, you'll just have to go fix yourself type of thing. And that holds some level of truth, and it makes us chuckle in some way. And so that Aquarius, that Pluto in Aquarius, it's not you. It's like you're not going to be able to wear a mask. Like all those, you can, but it's going to kind of be revealed, or it's going to be called out. It's like imitation is not going to cut her, and imitation is not going to be able to cut it. So it's like margarine passing itself off as butter. It's not butter. It's margarine, and it contains chemicals that are used in plastic. Butter, natural butter, comes natural, it contains what it says it contains. It's natural. So words that hide are going to have to be revealed. So there's revolutions and changes that are coming in how we can disguise things, and because things are being mapped back, people are being called up, it's being called out, we're seeing it for what it is. And so there is some real truth coming up and out in this energy as well. So then let's play a little bit with this beautiful movement that's also, so no, I don't want to go there yet. Okay, so no, I'm not going there yet. So we have a lot of Cancer influence with the Jupiter and Cancer, which I'll kind of come to, because this is another water sign. um yes, the Jupiter and Cancer brings big opportunities, big growth. I said I wish I was, no, I don't wish I was. I like being who I am. In the Cancer energy update, I'm like, man, I really am like excited for the Cancer energy this year. Like, especially the beginning half of this year, man, there's such luck. And I'm like, well, my moon's in Cancer. But the Cancers, if you have Cancer in your chart and whatever house that's in, go look it up and see where in the beginning of the year your life might really just be excelling. So what I wanted to talk about was the purchasing of a new home, buying a home, building a home. If you've been contemplating purchasing, buying, building a home, I feel like this may be the year when that dream comes true, when you can start to do that. If you already have a home, it's where renovations start to happen. Finances, money comes in to do those renovations, to make those changes, to do those upgrades, to kind of create and live your life, to do the things. And I'm going to stick to the sun. I'm like, this is the card of the year. The sun is the ultimate card of the year. See the horse? It's the horse is carrying in the new version of us. It's carrying in the new life. What's on its back? What does it have? Right? And that is, there's no saddle. It's riding bareback, right? It's loose. There's no, the horse, the baby is trusting the horse. So really this is going to be a year of really trusting and really like letting free. Like that child is exposed, vulnerable. It's stripping it back. And so we're really stripping it back. He's taking off the clothes, saying, I don't want to be cloaked. I don't want to be covered. I don't want to hide. I want to be seen. I want to live my life. Sunflowers, the rising, the sunflowers will always grow towards the sun. It's a year to really grow into the ego itself, to rise up into that ego itself, to in a healthy way. In what motivates us? Are we being motivated by the fear, or are we being inspired? And so that horse, and so this is also the year that you're going to see the white knight show up. The white knight syndrome, that's here to save everyone and here to save everything, is you're going to see that showing up. And this brings us back. So white knight syndrome would be very tied to the what would have been associated to our indigenous culture and the Catholic Church. That would be like a white knight syndrome. We're coming in to simulate you, to make you fit in our world that we're trying to create, that we want to see happen. And it's like, and that energy is also, it enters, but it doesn't have the same influence and impact that it once would have had, right? And so that Jupiter in Cancer is saying, really take advantage of this time of the year, and then you're going to have to settle in the back half, right? So it's like we're going to ride in, but this is going to mature, right? There's a level of maturity that's coming in, but the white knight syndrome that's coming in is about the mind. It is mental. It is crazy to think that we should kind of, torture someone into being someone they're not, or changing somebody, right? It's that we're going to change this. So there's a rising back up of our earthiness. There's a coming back in. There's a sense of this is where the middle world comes back. And that middle world is our little people. It's our fae, it's our fairies, it's the mystic, it's the magical, and it's bringing about that magical energy that is there for us all to be able to step in and to be using and utilizing that the energy of the magician, right? And moving through. And so emotional intelligence is a massive, massive, massive part of the beginning of 2026. We have the Ace of Pentacles. We're moving into a new time, right? It's like something is being kind of gifted to us. This horse is being gifted to us. We're coming through the year of the snake. As we come into the fire horse, it's not going to, like I said, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, but it's going to be opportunities. It's new beginnings. So if you fall, if you fail, if you try, at least try this year. At least try. But don't be in a rush in this New Year's thing. Don't get so tangled up in that. But every time we walk into a new beginning, a new opportunity, there's always going to be a mountain. There's always going to be a challenge. And our thing is to stop instead of running to the mountain and frantically trying to climb it and exhausting and wearing ourselves out trying to figure out how you're going to get over that challenge or that mountain, is to sit back and say, okay, there's a mountain there. And I know that I have to get to the other side of that mountain? What is going to be the easiest, less effort way for me to get to the other side? Because that's the way I'm going to take. That's the way I'm walking. No more am I going to sit in the struggles, and I'm not going to struggle to get there. It's like struggle will happen for those who are going to keep struggling. But it's like I'm choosing to wait for there to be a response of tell me the way to get around here. Because I want to go that way. And that's the way that I'm going. And so there is a change in that. There is like there's a possible there is something that's just saying, you know what, it's there, walk the new journey, walk the new way, but stop and kind of contemplate how you're going to get around there instead of jumping so quickly into that action. There's our moon. We're starting out with that moon, right? We're starting out with this Cancer energy, and then we're, of course, we're being influenced so much by that Jupiter and Cancer energy and how it's going to and what it does for us. um I just seen a tower. I just see, and of course, there's like two little pillars here, which could be like the two towers, right? This could be the shadows of the towers in the distance, crab energy, Cancer energy, and coming out of the water, the rising. This moon is going to really, truly bring us through emotions. And so, kind of, what story are we feeding? What are we done feeding? What are we really hungry for? And it's time to feed. Kind of sometimes starve out our we have to starve out our own anger. We have to sit with it and just say, okay, you know what, i'm not gonna I'm not gonna give all of my energy to my hurts, to my unhealed self, to my anger. I'm gonna give the energy to my joy, and I'm going to start remembering all of my joy stories and all the things that went well in my life, and all the things. And that's not avoiding or neglecting to see, but this is going to really help me bring this to my hurts and my angers, so that I can bring this joy and say, okay, you know what, you've had this joy, and so it does exist. It really is there, and you can get there again. And so it's a light, it may be stepping into where there is these tower moments of life that are challenging you to really, or challenging us as a collective, to really look at that. We need to kind of let the light in. So light is going to get into any area that needs to be resolved this year, anything that needs to be dismantled, whatever it is. And then in comes our opportunity for our healthy white knight energy that is here, the horse, the knight on the white horse, that's here to kind of clean up, what was destroyed. So it's a very cleaning year. It's a cleanup year. It's a year of kind of opening up the curtains, letting the light in, letting the light shine, and letting things be seen for what they really are. There's going to be a lot of wind this year. Like, not in every place, but there's going to be a lot of wind. And that wind is going to be like, say, a lot of tornado energy. Um, a lot of like tumultuous kind of windy kind of energy. And it feels like it's early spring, kind of when that happens. Just blowing the freaking roof off of things. Um, and so it is, our whole world is changing and shifting. But I do see, because I do see some explosive energy as well, and some explosions happening. Um, but I also see that we have in our corners, right in the corners, in our corner, we have all of the guidance, all of the support, all of the love that we need. We have major arcana moments. This is a major year. I have the sun, I have the moon, and I have the world card. And so there is, we're coming full circle. We're coming to the begin, like we've already come through the ends, the beginnings, and now we're really entering into this energy. We're entering into this beautiful times that is ahead of us. But I do see the possibility uh of some sort of like explosion, eruption, So I don't know if it's where old buildings maybe being taken down with explosions and crumbling down, or if it's something, or if it's kind of like some sort of attack energy. It does feel kind of sudden to me. Um, and I don't know exactly where this is, but I see debris and brick. Um, but it really is something that makes us really put into focus the foundation and how important it is to do the foundational work. And so moving forward with, you know, transparency is is major. Transparency is major. Um, be transparent. Be transparent. Fortune. I don't, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money on the go. There's a lot of finances. There's a lot of opportunity to make money. Yes, we got some ups and downs, and it's kind of rocky in the beginning, but there's a lot of money. There's a lot of finances. Don't blow it. I feel like it's like just because things, it's like money is coming from all directions. It's like you want to do everything all at once. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. Um, Preserve, conserve, also enjoy, but also be consciously aware. This is where you really want to look at your relationship with worth and finances and abundance. That's coming up for us this year as well. Um, it is the year of fertility. It's a year of really good year for, you know, we may see a big boom in the children and babies being born. And for all of my people who've always said, I'm never having kids, it's never happening, this might be your year that you should never have said never, never, right? Never say never. I would say never say never. You never know what you're, who you're going to meet in life. You're never going, you know, if you're single, you never know when you might change your mind on what you want to do, how you want your life to be. And it is bringing back the importance of family and family dynamics, and the family households are coming back into focus. We're kind of going back to basics, remember?
And of course, going back to the world card, is, when you look at this, is that this is as good a sign as this is a good sign, right? It's like, yeah, we may have flights and stuff maybe funky for a little bit, but that's also going to change. And it's going to be, there's a lot of movement happening this year. So it's a lot of travel for those who love to travel. It's a lot of purchasing. There's a lot of opportunity here that is speaking to us in a way that just says, this may be the year you're going to accomplish your dreams. This is going to be when your dreams come true. Um, and this also brings about this card. See the nakedness, but the the blanket has changed. When we kind of neutralize, when we neutralize our stories, is that we actually discover the ability to belong. When we throw this out and we just, when we neutralize our stories and they're no longer, we no longer so reactive to them, they no longer have the sting to them, is that then we're able to be balanced in our lives. And we feel like we belong. We know we belong. We belong where we belong. We belong with our people and the true places of where we are. We are wrapped in this protection. We have love on our side. We have a lot of love in this energy this year. And so this is bringing about us being able to really feel the successes of life, to feel accomplished. Is it all going to happen in the beginning of the year? No. Are some of us going to have to meet? Some people going to have to meet the challenges? Of course, but it is a time of where completions. So you're finally completed. It's finally done. It may be where your debt is, you finally through the debt stories, maybe where you pay off that old debt. It may be where you finally start to get ahead, purchasing that new vehicle, getting a new vehicle, buying, buying the things that you finally want. Maybe the year that you finally get that new wardrobe you've waited forever because your kids took up all the money before. It is going to be a time of where we're going to see a lot of jobs, a lot of increases in jobs, and we're going to see things kind of like industries just really taken off. Also, innovation. Um, the oil sector is going to be busier than ever, and also making its changes. It's not dying out, and it's not meant to die out. We're also going to see the increase and ties to. There's going to be some. It's like I feel like we're really shifting in the water sector as well of our being, like really bringing about. So this could be ocean things like cleaning the ocean, like making sure that we do protect our ocean per se, but it's also where there's plenty of fish in the sea. Put it that way. There's plenty of fish in the sea, but also seeing the value of why we have our whales, why we have that, and and seeing all sides of that as well. Now, health wise, I feel like, like I said, the mind, our sometimes the mental state, our stress, our anxiety, paying attention to your jaw. It may be where, brain things are revealed, or where, there could be dementia, Alzheimer's. All those things seem to be a little bit on the increase in this energy as well. Um, but also the your joints, right? The joints, feeling it in our joints. And it's where we kind of start to, the inflammation feels like it's going down some. And it's like there's heat. There's going to be a lot of heat and a lot of warmth this year. And so especially your fire signs, the heat in your body, physical movement is a must. If you are a water sign, if you're a fire sign, you have to physically be moving this year. It's like that energy can be boiling up and just like stirring up, and you got to move that energy. But on our collective, on a energy scale, is that there's going to be a lot of passion. There's also going to be a lot of, like, fire energy is about movement, physical movement, action. It's which also is new things bringing up leadership. It's also about, what can I do for you? How can I be of service to you? And that's what the universe, how can we be of service to you? If you're of service to us, how can we be of service to you? And then, of course, that beautiful air energy is really coming in to move us in new directions, in new ways. It's putting a wind in our sails. It's enlightening us, and we're going to feel that enlighten. Our imagination feels like we're going beyond our limitations, and what the eyes couldn't see before, the eyes are going to be able to see. And it's going to bring about, having to really look at the mechanics of how our eyes work. Because we say our eyes don't lie, but our eyes do lie. We see what we want to see. And so it's about seeing beyond what we want to see beyond that. And so we're going to be expanding in such big ways, in such areas of our lives, that it's going to be a very interesting thing to see. But I'm like, can I say it's a bad year? No. Can I say it's a year of where, this, that, and the third truth? And so the underlying of it all brings us into this card, right? It brings us into the Three of Swords. And it's like we're having to remove what stands in the way of us having the healthiest of relationships with ourselves, with our money, with finance, with personal, with our soul, with other people. And it's like, what stands in our way? And so wherever there's like affairs of the heart and stuff coming up, this will also be exposed, and so that it can heal either the relationship, or it frees you, because it is bravery, courage, and freedom. And it's bringing about the freedom so that our hearts can heal, and that we learn this year the power of the heart and the matter of the hearts. And so it is also matters of the heart that's also coming up. And I'm also picking up indigestion, stomach issues, healing those emotional wounds, those emotional stories that have been impacting us, or the weight we've been carrying on our backs. So back issues, heart issues, stomach issues, the mind issues, everything that's tied into the center of us is all also being resolved. And so it's also bringing up sinusy stuff. Um, and so, yeah, so we have the power of three, right? So this can also be tied to the power of three. So if we want to bring it into an advanced energy, and we want to move beyond the obvious, what's not so obvious is sometimes it's about our connection to the power of three, to the Trinity, to the, mind, body, soul connection, that we can have the mind invested and the body invested, but this is going to be a spiritual journey. And sometimes we have to let the spirit in. And sometimes we have to be able to live from our spirit and grow in our spirit. And so we're seeing a spiritual revolution. We're seeing people find that sense of spirituality. We're finding people kind of shifting energy, not knowing where they belong and testing out different spiritual places, religion, whatever it is, Christianity, spirituality, doesn't matter. It's wherever you find that place. Just don't judge somebody else for where they sit. But it is where, so I'm going beyond that. And I'm saying this is also beyond that story that we know is our connection to spirit and our connection to our soul and that evolution, what keeps us from having that spiritual relationship. So this year is going to be very big into the spiritual, but it's going to be tied to true light, and which makes it a lot of work for people who are only in it for the fluff. And if you're in it for the fluff and you're in it, is you're going to see people kind of moving and shifting away and going back. You're going to see some of the old birds coming back in, right? And you're going to see people returning to what it is they returning to home, coming back home to themselves and finding that connection. So there's not leaving out our connection to spirit. And that's the underlying of it all that was under the pack. That's the overall theme of this year is the importance of living from our spirit, to live our spirited self, our spirited life, and our spirited connection is so important moving through 2026. There's a lot more happening. I will share a lot more as we go along in each and every one of the zodiac signs. I will share a lot more in the monthlies that you'll get as we go through. But this is a bit of the theme of what this year is bringing for us. Much love. Bye bye.